You know, I don't think in the history of film there has ever been a third film amongst a trilogy that has been the best out of all of them. But thanks to Matt Reeves, I guess there is a first time for everything. War for the Planet of the Apes is the third and most recently released of the newer Planet of the Apes films, and in War for the Planet of the Apes, 5 years have passed since the events of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and apes and humans are now in full-out war. Caesar, played by Andy Serkis, is doing the best he can to protect his family. When a new colonel steps onto the scene, played by Woody Harrelson, now things may be getting a little bit more dire than they have in the past. Now, to say that expectations were high for this movie would be an understatement. Rise of the Planet of the Apes was a good movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was fantastic, and guys, let me tell you, War for the Planet of the Apes blew me away. It seems as though Matt Reeves took everything that people loved about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and multiplied it by 2 for this film. Beginning with the cinematography, every single shot in this film is so beautiful and breathtaking that I didn't want to take my eyes off screen. One of the bigger things that I appreciate Matt Reeves doing in these Planet of the Apes films is that whatever the tone is given a certain point in the movie itself, the weather will match that tone. For instance, for the most part, throughout this entire movie, everything is wet, it's cold, it's just a miserable environment. But whenever a little point of happiness pops up, there's either a fire or some kind of sunlight or something else to lighten up the mood. But now, let's talk about the performances. Honestly, very much like Hugh Jackman and Logan this year, I have never seen a performance this good from Mr. Andy Serkis. We all know how Caesar was portrayed by Andy Serkis in the past, but some events that happen in this movie cause Andy Serkis to go to places that he just hasn't been before with this character. He's driven, he's angry, and he is just ready to get stuff done. The best thing I'll say is that if Andy Serkis does not get nominated for Best Actor for what he did in this movie, I'm going to be furious. We also have a new fantastic villain played by Woody Harrelson. When the trailers first started coming out, I thought Woody Harrelson's character and Caesar were gonna have the same kind of personalities, except in different spectrums. But it's not like that whatsoever. Woody Harrelson's character in this film is out of his mind. Whenever he was on screen, I was locked on, most of the time not in comfortable ways too. His character in this movie is just a really, really vile, disgusting human being. One scene in particular between him and Caesar that just puts everything into perspective. I was just waiting for him to ask Caesar if he wanted to see a magic trick. But now we need to talk about my favorite part of this movie, which is the story. While I'll say that this film is definitely my favorite of every Planet of the Apes film I've ever seen, it is the darkest out of the new films that have come out. During the course of this film, Caesar is just pushed over and over and over again until he's at his breaking point. Within the first 15 to 20 minutes of this movie, I was in tears, I was on Caesar's side, and I understood why he was doing what he was doing. And honestly, by the end of this film, Caesar is so heroic that he's ultimately like Snake from Metal Gear Solid, willing to give up everything to protect the people he loves and protect the things he cares about most. And before we continue, yes, the CGI and motion capture in this film is out of this world insane. In fact, I'm pretty sure that there was no CGI apes on screen. They were all real, living creatures. Guys, if you couldn't tell already, I loved War for the Planet of the Apes. Andy Serkis kills it once again. The entire story is fantastic. It took everything that I loved about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and multiplied it by 2. Guys, what it comes down to is that War for the Planet of the Apes is suit-worthy. But as always, it is what you guys say that matters. So have you already seen War for the Planet of the Apes? And what did you think about it? More importantly, what is your favorite film within the Planet of the Apes trilogy we have so far? Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.